Part of this is cutting away a portion of the second floor so that the new lobby area is an open area that has basically 31-foot high ceiling height in this. And
and they don't come away.
I think they're all mine. Sometimes I was down. So this is the first and second floor entrances that have. You can see the area in here where we're cutting away the floor. So it's that entire area that's back there, surrounded by the glass on the second floor. To cut that away. Oh, I think they got it there.
It'll be very dramatic.
Right.
Extremely dramatic.
We're also able, by doing this, to close off the entrance that's currently on First Avenue for the building, so that we can recapture the corridor space in the building, making it a lot more efficient and creating much more contiguous space on the ground floor area. So we think that these changes are being terrifically viewed. This is just some kind of plan view. So the building will have in the lobby area, perhaps a little grab and go, coffee bar area, service and stuff for tenants in the building. You know, we're hoping that the other amenities that we're able to build on campus will be more of an attraction than having to put additional in-building amenities, right? So we want people in a pedestrian-friendly environment walking to other opportunities there, or, you know, running down onto in town and hitting some of the restaurants or Starbucks or the stuff that's down here as well. So these are the changes into Building 1. I wanted to show you something which I think is very interesting. So this is a floor plan layout that's been done for a quote-unquote generic tenant, to be named, but it shows how efficient this floor is. We get over 232 people
On a single floor.
on a single floor in the building. As Roche had it laid out, it was only about 160.
And by the way, as complex as it looks, that's not really stacking them tightly, because those are generous sized cubes, as we call them. They're 6 by 8. As a matter of fact, the tenant that we took through the building the other day said that's larger than what they currently have.
So, you know, these are the focus that we've had. While you're not seeing physical changes on the campus just yet, there's a lot of planning work and that has to happen in the background that's been going on. We're making, I think, great progress. More importantly, we're making great progress out there in terms of sourcing and entertaining new potential tenants. On Building 76, we are finalizing plans now as well. So you're aware of this. We intend to remove the marble on the east side of the building that goes from the 3rd to the 15th floor, and continue the glass curtain wall around the building, so that there are unobstructed views to the east of the Manhattan skyline, and provide a lot more light into that building as well. We have had discussions with users for that building that have ranged from consumer products companies, electronics companies, and broadcast television network type of entities.
That building now is 200 Metro Boulevard.
The old tower. So we think that Ed and I are quite pleased, I think, where we are today with the action that we've been able to generate already. We're seeing fruits of investment in the campus, right, starting to pay off, and it's allowing us to look at some of the other elements. If we can get this stabilized, we can look at some of the other elements in terms of value creation on the rest of the land of the campus, so we can continue to increase the tax rateable base here for Nutley and, of course, in Clifton as well. A couple of things that's going on with the campus that you should be aware of as well out on the roadways. So we've met with Essex County, and you know, you've seen the site plan application from Hackensack be submitted with respect to the roadway and improvements. We've asked our engineers really to rapidly catch up in terms of designing what would be our proposed roundabouts to be installed to control traffic flow on Kingsland Avenue in much easier fashion than the light that you have here now. Right, so if you look at where all those roads meet and how they meet, if you know that intersection of Bloomfield Avenue and Kingsland and the campus itself with that light, there's very odd turns and the like happening. what we intend to do is sort of to create a roundabout at Metro Boulevard, basically pushing it inside our campus quite a bit. Essex County thought that this was a fabulous solution, as well as New Jersey Transit, and I'll get to what this is about with New Jersey Transit here as well. It was a fabulous solution to traffic movement along Kingsland, so that there is no light. This would get rid of the light at that location and allow unencumbered traffic movement around the circle, coming in from both sides in all directions, so that it just continued to flow rather than had people stop and wait at lights and queuing. We think that does an awful lot of getting people in, both Hackensack Seton Hall students, as well as the other corporations that will end up housing themselves here. We intend to install the same down at the area where old Fifth Avenue was, now Ideation Way, to install yet another roundabout. You already seen in the plans and the site plans submitted by Hackensack and Seton Hall that the old Fifth Avenue, now Ideation Way, is being straightened out so that it'll centrally meet Kingsland right at the bend. That will provide much better visibility, right, in terms of automotive movement. It's very constrained. If you ever come out that driveway, you can barely see a car coming around that bend at this point in time, and trying to make a left out of there could be a death-defying Evel Knievel type feat. This roundabout will make that seamless. So we are hoping to get our full engineering done on this one, this one in particular, in time to phase it in, make our application to the township, get the county's blessing, of course, and build this as part of the final stage of completion of that roadway with Hackensack and Seton Hall site improvements. We asked Transit to get involved, New Jersey Transit, and again, I think that it's good for the public to know and good for you to know that all agencies of the state have been incredibly supportive and helpful. And one of the things we discussed with Transit was the elevation of this site in terms of its status with the EDA for Grow New Jersey grants as a TOD, transit-oriented district location. So we were able to, the very highest levels of New Jersey Transit, to have their planning group come out and review this site and the bus routes that essentially are stopping outside this campus right now. 199, 191, the 13, I think the 53.
Yeah, there are 5
and one other
lines that are converging, passing this.
After their study, it turns out that Transit's viewpoint, this site is more well-served than some of the other already existing designated TOD bus locations in the state. They wrote a letter on our behalf to the EDA recommending that this site be added to the TOD bus list and be eligible for enhanced Grow New Jersey incentives as a result of having that TOD access. The other thing that they were willing to do, and this is why this diagram was done, is to pull those buses off Kingsland Avenue. There isn't enough width in Kingsland for them to pull over, and I think you see it now. When a bus stops, traffic backs up behind it. New Jersey Transit is willing to now use the roundabout to come into the campus, come down Medicine Lane, drop off on Medicine Lane, and then continue back out the campus using the other roundabout in both directions.
So essentially, the buses, all these bus lines would come through the campus, rerouted from Kingsland between the 2 rotaries.
So when you think about traffic, you think about automotive movement, and you think about generating the kind of daily population again here, hopefully over the next 3 to 7 years that Roche had, the peak of 8,000 or 9,000 people. We're not content with leaving the access the way it is. We think that there's tremendous opportunity to improve it, and in particular to avail ourselves and individuals' desire to use public transportation. The ride trips data from New Jersey Transit for people in this area from these buses was astronomical. It's outstanding. So it's just a tremendous number of people. And the company that we had in the building 1, earlier this week, is a chief consideration for a relocation decision for them, that they have access to New York City and public transportation, since they intend to be moving 400 or 500 people out from the city and will still commute back and forth.
And they will still have offices remaining in New York at a corporate level perhaps, and they want to have that ease of access by public transportation.
So basically a reverse commute.
Our goal was not to, you know, when we met with transit, the question they posed to us that, hey, you know, it'd be great, we'd like to put something, you know, and you want something up on Route 3 and people could take the bus into the city, but we don't have any space on those buses and there's no space in Port Authority Terminal. And we said, no, it's okay. That's really not what we want. We don't want to have a place for people to drop off their car, get on a bus and go to New York and work. We
Just
want a
the
place.
opposite.
We want a place that makes it easier for people to live in other locations and not have to travel on Route 3 and to take that transportation, to take that bus. And the great news here is one of those lines, you know, does connect to the Newark Broad Street station, so it does have access and for a multimodal capacity, right? Can drop people off there in Newark at that location. As well as one of them we know does connect to another line that will service Hackensack's campus in Hackensack.
Yeah, their main operation.
So the doctors that come in every day to teach will have an opportunity to say, you know, I'm running down, I've got my hours and my rounds, I'm running down to teach a class, can get on the bus, come down instead, leave his car in place up at Hackensack, which if you've ever parked up there is pretty tough anyways. Teach his class, get back on public transportation and go, or head into the city for another meeting, whatever they're doing. But we think that this access and this inclusion of mass transit and public transportation is a incredibly important component for this campus and should be an important consideration when you review Hackensack and Seton Hall's site plan application. When you look at the parking and the student and the body counts that they're talking about, that this be an important part of your overall consideration, that mass transit will assist in lowering the number of students and number of people driving in their own cars.